Summertime, like Will Smith said, summertime. It's a great one for me. I've carp fished since 1976. I've big fished for, well, since probably 85. And people will go, you know, why did you come to a venue like this? And you know what? Sometimes it's good to, you know, variety is the spice of life. And I just sometimes love to go, not chasing the big carp, not having, you know, chasing like work ethic. If you're at work and you're chasing this, you're chasing that. Sometimes it's nice just to go away and enjoy the environment. And this place, like Home Grange, is just, the environment is so gorgeous. It's Poshville, and it's just gorgeous. When you look around and you've got 700 carp at your disposal, and that's why we picked this venue for our film. They're not the biggest. You've got some tiny ones in there, but you've also got fish to 28. I love going on these things, and summer fishing for me is a bit of this. You know, we knew that it was going to be 30 degrees. The fish, we're post-spawning, not long away, so we're not going to go to a water where it's going to be tough. Just come and have a bit of fun, and we knew I could incorporate bottom fishing. I can incorporate zig fishing, which most people know that I don't like that. You know, I've invented rigs for the bottom, but to come and fish something that's out of my remit, and floater fishing, I do love floater fishing, but zig fishing, but the zigs have proved better than anything. So yeah, so it's a learning curve, and people think, you know, fish spawn, then I've got a pile of bait in, and that's not the case. You have to evaluate every fishing month. I find July the most dull month to go fishing. It's a tough one. They can be post-spawning. The mirrors are just literally lethargic. The weather's a lot of high pressure, a lot of sunshine. So yeah, I tend to do a lot of floater fishing just in July, you know, or a zig fish. And once it gets to the end of July, starting into August, then we start piling the boilies in. And I'm a boilie angler, that's what I am through and through. And you know, June they can still be spawning. You're only going to catch normally the males. You have to just think about things in the summer. You know, no day's the same. It can be 30 degrees one day, the next day you've had a thunderstorm. They can be great. You get a thunderstorm, clears the air, and the fish then will go boom, and you can pile the boilies in. But I think you just need to, from my perspective, and my experience of summer fishing, you have to evaluate the barometric pressure, the air pressure. If it's 1,015, the fish are going to be above 1,015. The fish are going to be up in the top layers. No question, they always are. And that's when you need to take your floater gear. That's when you need to take your zig fishing gear. But once you get air pressure drops, boom, the bottom feeders. You'll always get bottom feeders, you always will, but the majority will act the same. But some carp are characters, and a lot of them do the same things, but there's a lot of other ones that do their own thing. Do your own thing, and you'll find methods. If you try outside the box for carp fishing, you can stumble across a method, and there's nothing better than stumbling across your own method. And you go, yes, that's a bit of me. I done that, and that makes the fishing a lot more enjoyable. I've got to get some floaters out there. So we've just arrived. Everything's an absolute mess. That's me, chaotic carping. I've literally go from fishery to fishery doing tuitions. So everything just gets bunged in the car, and I've turned up, it's a mess. but there's stacks of fish here. They're right close in, so I'm going to get some floaters out there, spom a few out, get them going. Hopefully we'll catch one within 5 minutes, so we'll see. Right, so here we go. This is the most simplest fishing ever. I've got a one talon tip, size 8, some HD floater line, and I'm going to do it. That's about 5 odd foot. You can't get any more simplistic than floater fishing. It's you'll see. By the time I've got them going within literally 30 seconds. They're going on these floaters, and they're having a right old Pac-Man out there. So I could use a tiny little bit of this and tiny bit of that, but I'm going to use a 12mm pop-up, and just make sure it's not poking above the surface. If it's out too far, they can be a bit wary of that, so I'll cut it just so it sort of sits halfway down. But it's if you can see what I've seen now, and I've only literally put this back, there must be 50 fish taking floaters there, and just a little hunch, I think we might have one quite quick. So it's a simple 4-turn grinner knot. Tie that onto your controller. I didn't chop that off, did I? Tie that onto your controller. Depends how far out you're fishing. Some people use the little bubble float ones. Others use this type of setup. I normally use a heavier one, but we don't have to go far on this. But I'm quite excited. I know they're not massive, they're not massive fish. There are, there's fish up to 28 in here. If we can get somewhere near that, that'll do. But I think we're going to have a lot of fun over this next couple of days, and I'm going to show you all sorts of methods that really do work in the summer. One little tip: use the grease from your nose and your ears. You run it along the hook link, and that makes it sit on top of the surface. And that's a mega tip. We've been doing that for bloody 35-40 years. It really does work, and the difference with you can get I can't remember what it's called now. You can buy a special stuff, a waxing, but it's got a little smell to it I don't like. I'll just use that, run it along, and that sits right on top of the surface, and they just don't see it. They don't see it out from underneath, and I've caught loads more fish doing it. So a little tip there for you boys and girls. Just using a little Blake's black 12mm contrast and just side hooking it. That's simple. It's just a little side hook thing. That'll do. So what I've done is I've overcast it, and then that can just drift in. I'll just drift in as the line pulls it in. So I'll just pull that in slowly, and then hook link stays straight away from the back of it. So you always get a take as such. It's not going to come towards you. You just keep that tension on. I'm just coming into the pack now. So yeah, so like I say, the beauty of floater fishing, these are literally like piranhas out there. But I can see what's going on, and the oil's pushing the baits out. It's moving there, and then they're moving down there. The fish are going up and down, but I can now recast that where they're shoaled a little bit. But the float's moving that way, and the fish are coming back. So hopefully that's going to go off in a minute. Just straighten that hook link out. Always got to move it just a few inches, and it just keeps it straight away. One's just refused that. I can see that even with my old eyesight. Just find that incredible how quickly they cleared that out. After a bit of a disastrous floater thing, what I didn't know, there was stacks of roach in here. We were thinking these are carp, and oh my god, I've been spomming, and it's gone without 5 minutes, 2 spoms gone, and it's the roach taking it. And I've had a couple of refusals, and then I've hooked one, and I wasn't paying attention, and it's zoomed off, gone about 30 yards to my right, and then come off. But so I've had to look down this margin, and one of the bailiffs said there's a like a paving slab, and he said they get right on it, and I was like, really? It's only that deep, and in the daytime you wouldn't expect it, but with no canopy over it, and sure enough there's one there. But further down I noticed in this margin, I noticed a couple of fish, and so I've put some bait down there. Now their tail's up, so I'm knocking together a basic complicated, which we've covered on previous gardener films, and I'm just going to slide a little tiny bag down and go and drop it in, and I think we'll look one there, because their tails are out. So rude not to. Right guys, so well, we got here yesterday afternoon, took a little while to get the rod sorted and whatever. Bit of a calamity, didn't know, because that's the beauty of of going in blind, and which I like doing. That's what I've spent my whole career doing, going in blind. That's why I've done the Weekender magazine piece, go to a new venue, didn't want to know nothing about it. What I didn't realise yesterday was putting out all those small floaters and absolutely getting mullered by the roach. I've put out krill pellet in the margins, and they are literally annihilating it. Within 3 minutes it's gone. And so yeah, it took 3 or 4 hours to actually suss it out. Sometimes I can be a bit slow. I should have worked it out a bit quicker. But we're here, and we've got a whole new day ahead of us. We've got 30 degrees, hence why I wear a hat. I'll never wear a hat, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight into what I might do before I put the zigs out. I'm going to put zigs out for the day, and but there's a load of fish that we noticed down in the inlet flow, but they've moved straight out, and they're right in front of me now, and they're underneath the surface, and so I might just have one little have half hour trying to get one off the top. Just try and get a bit of revenge, and I'm only going to put a single hook bait out. That's how you got to change things, and it's doing those. It's fishing is learning, and if you're that sort of confident that you don't have to learn, then you might as well go do some other sport, because every lake you go to, they're different characters, they're different behaviour, and I've learned from this one. If I come back here again, today, I'm going to change a few things today, and hopefully we'll get some live footage. We'll try and get one of these bigger fish, and yeah, looking forward to the challenge. It's a known fact. If you follow me over the years on rigs, I've invented quite a few. I don't really like zig rigs, but sometimes you've got to use them. And so what I do, being old school, I still incorporate the basic complicated method. So I do the 3, 7 turns, but I make the hair smaller, very similar. So I'm going to show you that you can use. We're going to dispel the myth that you have to use a bit of foam, because I don't like foam because it doesn't dissolve, it doesn't, it can be an ever attracting hook bait. But with these, they will break down. So I'll show you what I do. I use it basic complicated style. Instead of using obviously the Tiger line, I'm using the HD floater line in 12 pound, which is perfect. That's absolutely the one for me. So without further ado, I'll show you how I tie them and how easy it is to tie these. It's a piece of cake. So what we start off with, just make a little tiny loop. And that's just literally for your hair stop and to put your buoy on. I do make that little loop look easy. You probably won't even see that, it's tiny. That's quite a tough one to do. Doing the tuitions I do, people, it's probably the hardest thing they've tried to do is a little tiny loop, but I've probably done too many over the years. So what we do is we take one of the pop-ups, make sure, see like that, is not perfectly in the centre. You want it in the centre. There you go, now we're in the centre. So just little 10% percentages are everything in carp fishing. And all we do is put a buoy stop on. It's not, that's just simple stuff. I know I want about 11 foot. I want them up near the surface, so I know that's 5 foot, well, I am 6'7". That's about 5'5". So we'll do another length, another 5'5", and a little bit extra, just so we can do. I've wrapped it around the mic there. I'm not Brad Pitt. So I know that that's probably about 12 foot. So what we do is we take, I'm using the old Talon tips, size 8, that's all you need. You don't need a big hook. The bigger the hook, the bigger the gauge, the bigger the hole, easier it is to fall out of the mouth once it's hooked. I always use tiny hooks, always do. So just take it through the back of the eye, and this one's a little bit longer than my normal basic complicated. And then what we do is we take that a lot closer to the hook bait, just so it's sat, literally not parallel with it, but it's sat just below the top part of the boilie. And then I'm going to do 3 turns, 1, 2, 3, take that underneath, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 out the back. And now I've got to find the end of this, which is the hardest part with these zigs. There you go. Right, and then we just take it through the back, and I've got to thread it all down again. But that's zig rig fishing. It's not as easy as using a normal rig, but it's effective. And we just push that knot up. And as you can see, that is literally right close to that. They take that in. And yeah, absolutely perfect. Bam, that's done. So what all I do then is I use some of the Gardner foam, wrap it around there. When I'm casting the zig, I put half of the on the tail rubber and the lead clip. I put it on halfway, and then I wrap round some foam so the lead doesn't come off, and then I put it on there as well on the hook. So when it casts in, you can see it casts in, the lead goes in, then 11 foot down, bump, then you'll see the white foam of the hook bait go underneath, and then you know you're not over depth, and that's how I zig rig fish, and it catches lots of fish. Yeah, we're just about to have a little barbecue, and the rod's gone off. So fantastic. That's about as far as I can get that in. Another common. These little cricket back commons. I've got another bite there. That's a double bite. We're away. We're away on the other one. Oh dear. So obviously showing that this is, yeah, that's on. Got one on the middle rod. Oh Jesus. Right, it's a bit chaotic. Let's get that one in the net. There we go. That one's in. That one's in. We'll get the middle one on. There we go. Yeah, we got another one on. Oh, my feet are hurting. There we go. So it just goes to show that this is about timing. Yeah, we got two on here. That's all right. We'll take that. Apart from my feet hurting, I might even go back and get my shoes. Oh, thank you. Cameraman Si has just helped me out. Cool, that hurts. Whoa, here we go. Look at that. Go on, Gil. Look at that taking line. Look at that. Whoa, go on, Gil. That's tuna fishing. Look at that. That's why we go fishing. Men just love that sort of thing. Look, just that going. Look at that going. Hold on to that. Yeah, I think it's the male commons. They just fight like hell. Wow. Wow. And that's what we said about earlier, enjoying the fishing. And yeah, it's not a 40 pounder, it's not a 30 pounder, but that is what we come for. And he's still going to go. I'll hold that there so I can look at the old the booner hook bait in his mouth. Brilliant. There you go. Two at a time, baby. Yes. We'll have that. We'll take that. Barbecue time. Little update. Had a couple, well, double take last night on the zigs. Today, total different day. They've been a bit peculiar. The wind's got up, so I don't know whether the zigs are not working now, which I expected they do, but I expected them to do. But where all the fish were, where we showed you earlier, where there's about bloody 100 fish, there's hardly anything down there now, and they've just vanished out of there. So what I've done, I've got some hemp out the car, and that's slowed the roach down. So I've put some down in the bottom end. I walked around there and it stunk of carp. And I've put some hemp down there. There's 3 or 4, maybe 5 fish, tails up. So without further ado, I'm going to tie on a little basic complicated. And what I'm going to do, because it's close in on a shorter, on a shallower bit, I'm going to take it down. I normally use it between 7 to 9 inches, but I'm going to take it down to about 5 inches. They're smaller fish and they're not, their tails up in a shallower area, so that's the whole reason of that. And so let's get this done. I'm quite excited to catch one right under the rod tip, literally a foot from the bank. So let's, fingers crossed, we're going to go and do it. So as you can see, that's about 5 inches. Yeah, little Redfish Pro dumbbell. And what I'm going to do, because of the roach, I'm just going to hook on one little mesh bag of Redfish Pro 15 millers, 5 in there. That's good enough for a bite. So without further ado, let's go see if we can get one. I'm excited. I'm in a big fish angler and I'm fishing with small fish, but I'm excited. It's just that different scenario, just varying up the game instead of sat behind static rods for big fish, doing a method. And it's been a little eye-opener being on here, having to fight the roach. Didn't know that, you know, I didn't know. I've tried everything, but I've had a learning curve, and it's been yeah, it's been a little eye-opener for me, this trip. But that would finish it off, I think, if I can get one stalking. Boom, game, set and match. Let's go. So, it's a tale of two halves, this trip. Coming to the end of the trip, and it's been awesome. Like, we've had a lot of fun. Yeah, they're small fish, but been loving it. We're just hoping to catch one of these 20s, and I've just moved round. The weather's changed. It's gone to a lovely southwesterly. And it's that's what I put the top on. It's getting cold. We've had 30 degrees, and it's a tough one. So to produce what we produced has been great. And all I'm looking for is a fish now of proportions. Let's see if we can catch one of the big ones. And so I've moved down to this bottom end, and there's literally been fish. Oh, as soon as I put that hemp in, that was the game changer. I've run out of hemp now, but we've had a fish off of you know, off of that one, the stalked one, which is fantastic. That was a 3-minute carp. But I got a feeling, I've sat up down in that little corner there by the reeds. I just had a bad feeling about it. I've got a feeling this one is going to do us a bite. Right, well, there we go. Let's hope, let's hope and pray that this is a bigger one. Come down to this little corner, and I could see the plan was to come and catch a bigger one with the 20 millers. This is definitely not a small one. And that was the plan. So yeah, let's hope this has come to fruition. But absolutely fantastic. It'll be me and Simon, old Big Si, the absolute epic cameraman, who's been filming all of this, and he's had some himself as well. But we had a little bet. I just lost £1. I said the left hand's going to go, the left hand rod. He went, I've got a feeling the right hand rod's going to go. Damn you, Simon. Loving it. I've had the greatest time with the guy I class as my mate, Si. We had a little trip to the pub yesterday. We had a lovely dinner. we've had barbecues, and we've had carp. And if this, well, it's definitely the biggest one we've had, so happy days. Gonna go again. Listen to that. There's nothing better than a screaming clutch. I know that looks a bit low. That's GTHD 18 pound, and I've had that on for a year and a half now. Doing all the tuitions, all the 30s, all the 40s we've had, up to 50. And it's still going strong. Come on girl. There she is. She's in the net. "48 hours on home range fishery, and had a fantastic time. Lots of summer tactics. You got a nice, this would have been a 20 pounder, absolutely like a submarine. Really, really long fish, but totally spawned out. And but the tactics, employed the 20 millers to catch this, one of the better ones. It's worked. So we've had them, you know, we've had off the top, we've had them on the bottom, we've had them stalking, we've had 4 stalkings a day, and yeah, absolutely. I think it just brings home the fact that you can enjoy fishing. I've fished for big fish all my life, and had well, over 800 English 30s and 40s, up to 50, but I've enjoyed this.